Why is it that someone else is always getting that promotion that you're supposed to have? Hi, this is Barry Phillips of 10-Minute Torah, day number 4 of the Torah portion, Bamidbar, in the wilderness. Let's go to the book of Numbers, or Bamidbar, chapter number 3, and start reading with verse 1, and just read a little bit. These are the generations of Aaron and Moshe when Yahweh spoke with Moshe on Mount Sinai. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, Nadab, the firstborn, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. These are the names of the sons of Aaron, the anointed priest, whom he ordained to act as priest. Nadab and Abihu had died before Yahweh when they brought strange fire before Yahweh in the wilderness of Sinai. They had no children, so Eleazar and Ithamar acted as priests in the presence of Aaron their father. Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Bring the tribe of Levi near and set them before Aaron the priest. They shall serve him. Shall guard his duty and the duty of all the congregation before the tent of appointment, to do the service of the dwelling place. They shall guard all the furnishings of the tent of appointment, and the duty of the children of Israel, to do the service of the dwelling place. And you shall give the Levites to Aaron and to his sons, they are given ones, given to him from among all the children of Israel. And appoint Aaron and his sons, and they shall guard the priesthood, and the stranger who comes near shall be put to death. Keep that last thought in mind. We'll come back to that later. And so as we read this listing, it says in verse number 1 that this is the generations of Aaron and Moshe, but only the sons of Aaron are listed. The two sons of Moshe, Gershom and Eleazar, are not even mentioned. Matter of fact, after they're brought back to Moshe by Yethro, his father-in-law, we really don't hear of them again. Consider the thought that if the sons of Moshe had followed in his footsteps as the leader of all Israel instead of Yehoshua, there may have been then an early development of a monarchy in Israel, something that Yah did not desire. Therefore, these two sons, well, they've just been lost in the pages of history. We really don't know what happened to them. But the sons of Aaron have continued in their lineage even to this day. There are legitimate descendants of Aaron, Kohanim, priests, of the tribe of Levi who exist and live in the earth, and there are a select number of them that are being trained and qualified in order to function in the next temple that will be built. And so it would seem then that this position of priesthood has already been solidified. Yah has already chosen it. He's made a clear and definite choice. And just a few more turns of pages, we're going to see that that choice comes under question. How is it that certain people seem to get the more desirable jobs or play the more significant roles in whatever congregational setting or group setting that you may be a part of? How did you get this job? Well, someone would have to believe my testimony. For me personally, it happened at the age of 18 in a place of prayer during a time of revival. I confessed and testified that I had heard his clear, unmistakable voice call me to, quote unquote, preach my word. When I shared that with my pastor, he agreed and believed that I had indeed heard such a word, and that local congregation many, many years ago discerned that the call of Yah's heart to preach his word was indeed upon me, and they sanctioned me, set me forth into ministry, and I went through the varieties of testings and so forth to prove my knowledge at least, and was credentialed, ordained, and given opportunities to preach. Now, over the years, I've reminded Yah, look, I didn't ask for this job. You called me, and I need some help. He's been very faithful to respond. There may have been, over the years, a few folks that would have questioned that calling and thought that I was nothing more than fanciful in my imagination. But the understanding is Yah does choose. He does select. And so in this chapter, he says, these are the roles and the assignments that I am handing out to the Gershoni, to the Gershonites. I want them to rise up and carry the tapestries, the veils, and the curtains. And he called the members of the family of Kohath, and he said, I want them to carry the furnishings, the ark, the tables, the menorah, the altars. I want them to move and transport these things. To the family of the Merarites, the Meraris, they are given the sockets, the boards, the bars, the pegs, the cords. Everything pertaining to Yah's house, he has it signed out, assigned to each family member, and said, this is your responsibility. Now, all of these families are related. They're all Levites. They all have a significant calling upon their life. They are a very elite people. And some may question, well, how did they get the job? Sometimes it comes down to no other response other than, because Yah said so. That doesn't sit well with us. Yah calls you and I to a certain life experience, to a certain step, to a certain responsibility. And you may look at that and say, let somebody else do that. Didn't Moshe have the same issue? I wish you called somebody else. By the time that David had hidden in a few caves and had been threatened to the very inch of his life, there may have been a few times where he was ready to sit down and say, you need to anoint somebody else as king. This isn't working out too well. After all, he was a fugitive, and wanted posters were posted out on him. Rav Shaul, Yah says to his prophet in the book of Acts, he says, you need to go lay hands on him, heal him so he can see, and he has to know the things that he is going to suffer for my name. If Rav Shaul had actually heard the long list of things that he had intended to suffer, he may have said, Master, I'll serve you, but in some lesser capacity. Yeshua didn't shirk back. His flesh argued against the call in the garden as he prayed, but he said, not my will, your will be done. There are times that we might question, Yah, why? I don't understand. What is the reason behind this? What possible good can come out of this? Why are you testing me this way? And sometimes the only answer that we get is, because I said so. This is my will. Engage in it and do it. We want to be given the outcome ahead of time. We want to have understanding in the middle of it. We want this overwhelming sense of peace that comes out and we can just smile and rejoice right through the middle of the worst of our trials. There are times that our hearts are broke. There are times that our mind is perplexed. There are times that we struggle and try to understand. And Yah is speaking to us and saying, trust me. Just trust me. The mind screams, the soul aches and squalls in rebellion. I don't want to trust. I want to know. Yah knows what he's doing. And he appoints and puts people where he does. And he assigns as he does. Not only positions, but life experiences, challenges, people that we are brought alongside of and you think, how in the world am I supposed to relate to this one? Yah's got a plan. Trust him. Depend on him. You've been promoted to a job no one else qualified for. We'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.